So I'm like used to like doing like this to my hair. Now it's inverted. I'm going through the other direction. Oh my god.
I have been very confused for like the last 15 minutes, so completely understand.
Is this the first time you're using this thing?
No, this is used for all of our sessions. So
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I guess we'll wait for a few minutes and then we'll start. Okay, I guess we can start now. So, hi everyone. Thank you for joining in today for our third session in our series for Innerve, that is Tech Opportunities Decoded, where we bring to you some very expert speakers. For today, we have Anubhuti Chamoli. She is a great alumni from our college, from the 2015 batch, from the Bachelors of Technology, Mechanical and Automation Engineering. She went on to do her masters from University of Michigan, and currently she's working as a program manager too at Uber, and she makes us super proud to be sharing the same alma mater. So, how are you, Dee? What's the time there right now, and how is it you're
Ah,
doing?
thank you for those kind words. It's 9:30 a.m. on Sunday, and yeah, it was tough waking up. But good to see you all. Good to connect with all the folks here. Hope everyone's had a good Sunday.
Yeah, so for today, basically, I'll just let you know how the whole session will be going. We'll start with the talking about her journey, giving us a few pointers how to get where she got. Then she'll be taking up the live Q&A with you guys, where you guys can post your questions, and she'll try to answer as many as she can. So over to you, Dee.
Thank you. I'll try sharing my screen. Let's see. Um, show screen. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, perfect. So I stole this slide from one of my job interviews, but this is my career path so far. I was a part of IGIT. I still call it IGIT because it was IGIT when I was there. I did my bachelor's in mechanical and automation from IGIT. Graduated in 2015. And then I went on to work in GM, the Bangalore Tech Center, for 2 years. And I worked as a design engineer for Global Propulsion Systems, which is a fancy word for powertrains. And I was specifically in engine design. Post that, I went on for my master's in Automotive Engineering at University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. And I joined in fall 2017. I graduated in December 2018. It was a year and a half. While I was at Michigan, I was interning at Molex, which is one of the companies. They make connectors and terminals, so most of the electrical stuff which goes into the car. Worked there for 8 months. And post that, the major shift which I made was to Uber, which I joined Uber in July 2019, and I'm still there. I started off as an autonomy hardware engineer. I was in the self-driving department of Uber. So that was called Uber ATG, Advanced Technologies Group. And my job was to build modules for the self-driving cars. Then Uber got sold to Aurora, which is another self-driving company, the ATG part, and I moved internally within Uber. And right now I work as a chief of staff for the data org. Chief of staff is a fancy word. Basically, you're responsible for the operational strategy of whichever org you are the chief of staff of. So you deal with things like budget, like headcount management, like tech reviews, business reviews. It's more of a management role. So I can say that I have moved out of engineering into the management side of things. I have one slide to share here, and this is where I'll be talking the most. And I think if I'm not able to address something here, you can always ask me questions post this. But I just wanted to share my advice on the top three things which have helped me to be where I am right now. And this is a generic theme across my masters, across the job I'm doing, the job I was doing in India, but like how basically all these three things which have helped me land exactly where I am. So the first thing I want to share with you is start early and be broad yet specific. So what I mean by that is start early means doesn't mean oh, when I was 6 years old, I was building cars and I was repairing broken things and I knew I had to do engineering. No, that's not my start early. My start early is that if right now, if you're in that whole phase, undergrad, second year, third year, fourth year, should I go for masters, should I go for an MBA, should I go for a job, start thinking about what you really want out of these three and start working towards it. So I'll give an example of in the master's sense. I actually gave my GRE 1 year before I applied to all the colleges. So that way I was just done with the whole, the exam pressure. I don't have to worry about scoring marks in GRE. And I was if I have to take it again, I still have another year, but thank God I didn't have to take it again. But the next 1 year I spent on researching which colleges I want to go to, what is their curriculum, what is their program, what are their requirements, how should my SOP be, my statement of purpose, which you have to write to get into colleges here. I could completely focus on what I want to do in the college and not worry about giving GRE or other things oh, now I'm going to probably think about exams or so you leave that stress behind and you can completely focus on what you want to do once you come here. So I did all of that research. And once I came here, in the first semester, right before I was going to join, I spent that time thinking, okay, which company do I see myself working for, or which job profile do I see myself working for after 1.5 years of masters. Okay, so I see myself working at this company for this position. What skill sets are they looking for? What positions do they have open? Who are the people working there? Okay, and now I have this list of things which I should target for in my masters, so that when I'm actually standing over there looking for a job, I already have my homework done. But if you think about this after 2 semesters in masters, okay, I want to do this, I probably want to apply for this company, and then you realize, oh my God, I already finished 2 semesters and I didn't take these courses which I could have taken then. So this is what I mean by start early. Even if you don't want to do masters, if you want to probably work for a dream company, connect with people on LinkedIn, talk to them. What is your day at this job look like? What skill sets did it take for you to land here? Is there anything specific you did in your career which helped you be where you are right now? What was the hiring process stuff? I see myself working at this company a year later. Do you have any advice for me? So that's what I mean by start early. The second thing which I want you guys to focus on is be broad yet specific in your skill set. And what I mean by that is most of us start off as design engineers. I started off as a design engineer at GM. So we only focus on designing the product. But I want you to take 2 steps back, go in a bit into the history of the product and think about the future of the product, in the sense, okay, I'm designing this. What were the requirements of this product? Why is this product being designed? Why did this whole team of engineers who's asking me to design this product, why do they need this suddenly? What was the previous product which it is replacing? How long is this product going to be used for? And then you also think about the future of the product, which is okay, I've designed this product. What tests are you going to do on this? Is it a drop test? Is there any thermal analysis going on? What tests are you going to perform on this? What standards are you going to be testing this product against? What are the industry standards? So when you think a little bit into the history and the future of the product, now your skill set is still of a design engineer, but you broadened it beyond a design engineer. And this helps you take the jump you want to in your career. Maybe you're okay, I'm done designing this product. I want to be a design release engineer, which is a parent of a product. I want to take a step ahead. I want to be responsible for this product throughout its lifetime. For that, you need to know why it was designed, how is it going to be tested, what's the cost of this, what are the quantities being ordered. So because you did this homework while you were already working on designing it, you know a lot about it than someone who just comes out as a design engineer. So you have that edge over that person because you did a little bit research here and there. So whatever skill set you have, whatever work you're doing, try to understand from where it is coming to you and where it is going after you're done on it. So that's my first point. And I'll give you a little context in terms of masters also. You have labs here. If you decide to pursue masters in US, you have labs your professors work like they're responsible for their own labs. So if you were interested in something, and if you started early and you already decided that, I want to probably go into designing hybrid engines, or like I want to go into, let's say I want to go into designing this XYZ, and there's a lab which just works on designing XYZ. So you get that work X while you are in college, because you researched about it, you found your professor, you found what they are doing in the lab, you requested the professor to hire you as the research assistant. So while you were studying, you were also working in the lab, and that lab work is your direct work experience when it comes to masters. Because honestly, we all know, like, studying something, obviously, like when you're working on it, it's like you can show more hands-on, right? So and they're paid positions, so you also get paid. Do all of these research way before you actually go there, and like start a little bit early than you see yourself starting at. The second point, which I want to share with you, which is like very, very important, is building your brand. And it has two things to it. One is network and one is skills. I'll start with network. In US, you don't have something as like companies coming to your campus and like trying to hire you. They're just coming for you. Like in IGDTUW, like companies come to campus, they give you tests, and then they hire people, and they go back. In US, you have something called career fair. You need to take your resume, you need to stand in long lines, and you need to market yourself, and you need to show them how you are standing out from those 200, 300 people who are also standing in the same line. And there's the whole issue around international students. We'll talk about this. It's difficult for us to find jobs. Why? Because if 10 companies are coming here, 7 of them will not hire international students. Only 3 will. So your crowd is already like double, triple, because like all the international students are only focusing on these 3 companies. So sometimes if you're not able to, get through to the recruiter or like all the people who are there, what I mean by network is build that network on LinkedIn. So if you see yourself, you see yourself working for GM or Ford, you find your department which you want to work for, start finding hiring managers, start talking to recruiters. I see myself working here. Do you mind taking a look at my profile? Or like connect to a hiring manager, there's an opening in his team. I see myself working here. This is the position which is open. I think my skill set is a good fit for this. Let's connect or let's chat. So build that network on LinkedIn, even if you're not looking for a job, even if you like just came to US, or like you're still in your second year or third year of college. But once you start connecting to people, your LinkedIn grows. That way, when you're actually in your 4th year and you already know people, there are people who change jobs all the time. They can get you referrals. You've already built that powerful network which you need in your 4th year, and it's going to take a while to like have that many people on your LinkedIn. So constantly connect, constantly network. Even talking to your juniors, talking to your seniors. Say like, okay, yeah, two things which I also come to my mind, which I don't want to miss, is when you add someone on LinkedIn, always add a note. LinkedIn is not Facebook. So always add a note, tell them why you're connecting with them, even if it's like, I really like your profile, I would like to connect with you. That's good enough. And the second thing is no the sir, ma'am on LinkedIn. No, especially when you're talking to people here, it's considered kind of unprofessional. So, and when I went to GM, I was also like appalled at like calling people by their names who are like twice my age. I was like, oh, okay, do I not say sir? Is it not disrespectful? But that's how it is in the States. You just call people by their names. So always include a note. Hey, Anubhuti, or like, hey, Shruti, I went through your profile. I like this, let's connect. I want to talk to you more about this. Keep doing that every day, probably like connect to 2-3 people, find wherever you see yourself going, find people there and like build your network. The second thing which is important is building your skills. So when I was in GM, I got my black belt in design for Six Sigma. That helped me get TA for 1 semester. So like I actually got a TA for a subject I did not even take, which is kind of tough if it's a master's level subject, which it was in this case. So because I had a black belt in GM, I spent 2 years getting that black belt. I could show that even though I have not taken this course, I know about this, what it means, what it entails, and I have I have participated in this program at industry level. So find skills like that, find skills which add to your profile, and definitely keep adding those skills. Things like DFMEA, something which I did in Supra, which is, people were very impressed that I knew how to do a DFMEA, and that it was not taught in class. It was something I did as a part of the Supra team. So things like DFMEA, things like GD&T, which is like your geometric dimensioning and tolerancing, all these skills which are crucial to a design engineer. Just make sure that you're learning it like somewhere. And the second part of skills is people skills, which is doing a lot of extracurricular activities. Now, I was just talking to Shruti about Zebek, which was like the mechanical tech fest. I organized that tech fest for 2 consecutive years in IGIT. And then I came to Michigan, and I was the president of graduate student advisory committee for my department. And when you are here, you have to study, you have to do your own laundry, you have to cook your own food, you have to clean your own, you have to clean your own house, you have to do everything yourself while you're actually 12, 15, 20 credits. I don't know how many credits you guys will end up taking, but yeah, it's tough, and you will kill for that extra hour of sleep. Please let me sleep. I don't want to do any extracurricular, please. But I feel like when you do that, you kind of network with a lot of people. I knew my whole department knew me. And I was responsible for motivating 9 more people to do this. Let's do this, please. It's good. And what it got me in the end, it got me a job at Uber, because one of the tech talks which I organized, I met the head of the mechanical engineering department of Uber self-driving, and I connected with him. And then a year later, when I was looking for a job, I went back to him. I'm like, hey, Steve, I'm looking for a job. I found this. I think I'll be a good fit. And he referred me. So do take part in some extracurricular stuff. It helps you develop people skills. And that is very, very important here, especially because you are on your own. There's no company coming here to hire you. You need to go there. You need to talk to them. You need to attend 2, 3, 5, 10 career fairs before you actually, you might just get the job in your first career fair, but there's a lot of marketing you need to do for yourself. It's not really a safe haven. And the third point, which I wanted to share is you need to take some risks, and you need to believe in yourself. I'll give you 2 examples of those, which I did. So when I was in IGIT, Flo Daniel was our master recruiter. I don't know if they still come, but Flo Daniel was my first interview. And I went to the interview and I said that I don't think I'm a fit for this position. I don't want to work here. And that was because GM was coming a couple of weeks later. And we had this policy, if you get 1 offer, you can't sit for more. And I was like, I really want to sit for GM. I really want to do this. So I have to give the safe thing up. And that's what I did in my first job interview of my life. And then I sat for GM, and I was very nervous. I was very stressed. I just gave up something I could have had. I really, really need this job. And I think that helped me, work harder in that way. But I ended up getting a job at GM, which defined my career path henceforward. When I was out after IGIT, I just wanted to do my MBA from give my MBA, and sit at a good management position. But because I went to GM, I was like, damn, this car's stuff is cool. This automotive field, I'm in the heart of the big 3. So the big 3 are Ford, GM, FCA, or the big 3 OEMs of US. And I was in the heart of one of them, and I was in engine design. I was like, damn, this is fun. I should do my master's in automotive. So that shaped my career path. That I went from an MBA to a master's from University of Michigan because of the one risk I took. I think I should wait. I should give up this job and wait for sitting for GM. The second thing which I did was, when I was here, I interned at Molex. I showed in the previous slide, and they gave me an offer. So I was one of the first people to get an offer in my bachelor. I got an offer. I'm going to graduate with a job in my hand. And then I'm like, I came here for masters to go into electrical powertrain or self-driving vehicles. I still want to do that. I think I should not take this. And then I went and I declined their offer. and I graduated without a job. For the next 4 months, the darkest professional phase of my life, yet I didn't have a job for 4 months. I was literally one of the last people left on campus without a job. I didn't have money because like I was just surviving on whatever I saved from my internship. I didn't want to take money from home. And every day I had to motivate myself and like not feel depressed about why I did what I did. I could have just taken that job, like just be working in a very very good people, very good company, just something what I did not want to do. I wanted to do either like electrical powertrains or self-driving. And then it took me like 6 months to land that position at Uber ATG, which was the autonomy hardware engineer position. And it was not easy. Those 6 months were very very tough. uh, I was doing every day was going on LinkedIn, applying for jobs, connecting with people, trying to convince people to hire me. There was a job which I almost got. I was in the final round, and one day before the final round, the position got cancelled. So like things like that were also happening. So it was really tough. But would I do it again? Yes, I would do it again, because ultimately I did end up, at the position where I never thought I could be here. Like I'm a mechanical engineering student. What am I doing in self-driving? People code their software, but there were departments. You ultimately need to design hardware, right? What are you going to put your code on? So it was totally worth the risk for me. So sometimes when you think that there is something which you really want to do, and even though it might entail a certain amount of risk, take it and believe in yourself, because if you want, no one else will. So take those risks, and like if there's something you really want, somewhere you really want to be, it's going to be worth it in the end. And with that, I will stop my TED talk and let you ask me questions. Are you on mute, Shruti?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's national line of things these days. You're on mute.
Yeah, so that was really good. So we'll just start taking up questions from the audience now. So the first question is, would doing an MBA would be beneficial after bachelor's?
So I was someone who wanted to do an MBA very badly. I gave CAT also, but how I feel about like after coming to US, and this is just because I was here. People do MBA in US once they are 35 or 40. The average class age, everybody is above 30, definitely. Most of them not, 95% of them. People go for an MBA when they're like 35, 40. Why? Because you work, once you start working, a lot of things change for you. You might realize, like me, that you don't want to do an MBA. Or you might realize that, I want to work in this for a while. This is something I'm enjoying. Let me master my professional, the work experience side of things. Let me like get some experience. Let me see how to navigate myself through the corporate ladder, or let me see how I fare in like this whole work environment. So that really changes a lot of things for you when you're out from engineering just into an MBA. I'm not saying don't do it. A lot of people do it, but you don't have that perspective of working in a company. And honestly, how I see is that things are getting competitive. People want work experience when you come to an MBA. So if you turn up with like 2 3 4 years of experience, even if you have a less score in CAT, I think you get some points for work experience, right? So uh, it's going to be your call. Beneficial is a very relative term. Might be beneficial for you, might not be beneficial for someone else. But working in an actual company will definitely teach you a lot of things. And it's not like you're not going to do an MBA. I'm going to do an MBA, but I will wait for a while because I want to like get totally comfortable in working in this environment, or like get accustomed to this whole corporate thing. So it's up to you, but work experience is worth it.
Okay. Can you please describe the biggest challenge you've ever faced and how did you overcome that?
I just told you about that. The most depressing 6 months of my life. So I keep doing things like this. I keep if I see myself, if I feel like, this there is this thing in my life, there's this position, there's this field which is going to be amazing for me, and I don't have it now, and I might have to give up on like temporary comfort for it. I will do it. And I always do it. I did it at IGIT, I did it at Michigan. If now also I have to do it, I'll do it again. So I gave up that job. It was it was a very safe job, very good people, very good company, just not what I wanted to do. And this is something I think I'll keep doing.
Okay, who motivated you throughout your journey?
Who motivated me? I think it was more about like less than who motivated me. It was what motivated me. I mean, I ultimately want to rise up the ladder, and I think about where I want to be 10 years later. It's that fancy question which they ask you, like 10 years later, where do you want to be? It's something I think about every day. Where do I want to be 10 years later? And what am I doing right now to be there? Because you're not magically going to be there 10 years later. You have to put in the work now. So that motivates me, that where do I want to be? What do I have to do to get there? And then I have a very, very brilliant, beautiful family which supports me through everything, especially my mom and dad. So yeah, it's more of like what motivates me, and where. So think about where you want to be 10 years later, and how are you going to get to it, and let that motivate you every day.
Okay, how to manage things and handle mental pressure?
Well, there is always going to be mental pressure. Always. You have to increase your threshold. That is the key to handling mental pressure. It's not like I don't have mental pressure today. When I was at Uber, I was telling, like, I started my job at Uber ATG, and after 1.5 years, they sold that company to Aurora, which is another self-driving company. And I didn't get an offer to move to Aurora, which was basically like, okay, you are not, you're not moving to Aurora, and you need to start looking for your backup options. And when you're on H-1B visa, which is the work visa here, you have 60 days to find a job, or you have to leave the country. So there is no time to feel sad about things. You have to start applying for jobs the next day. So there will, and I was lucky. There was a position open internally at Uber, which I applied for, and I gave that interview, and I got the chief of staff job. But there will always be mental pressure. There is no secret to handling it. You need to just face it. Remember why you are doing something. That's it. Like, I think that's what I tell myself when I get like super stressed out about things. Why am I doing this? And then I try to remember, okay, I'm doing this because I want to be here 5, 6, 10 years later, and just remind yourself about that, and it should get easier.
Okay. How to prepare for GRE with college studies and extra courses?
This is a good question, and GRE is English and maths for like till 10th grade. You guys are like engineers now, like 4 years of IGIT. Come on. So I didn't take any coaching for a GRE. I prepared for GRE in 2 months while working. What I did was every morning I used to make those cards for like learning those words. And then after work, I used to come back and do math tests. That's what I did for 2 months. I scored 321. It's GRE is not IIT. It's just math and English. First of all, like, let the fear of the exam go away. It's not scary. It's just math and English till 10 standard. You can totally do it. You just need a plan. So like, take a mock test. Start with that. Take a mock test. See your score. See where you are lacking. Is it math? Is it English? Where do you need to put in more work? And then according to that, make a plan. I think if you give GRE 2 to 3 hours every day, 2 to 3 months is good enough time to prepare for it. Like that, I don't think it should take more than that. Okay, even let's say like you really want to score like 340 out of 340. Okay, 6 months. 6 months should be good. But like, put 2 to 3 hours aside every day. Make a list, plan. Like, today I'm going to finish these modules. Today I'm going to finish these modules. Today I'm going to practice these words. Every 2 to 3 weeks, keep taking a mock test to see that you're actually making progress or not.
Right. How to develop skills during college?
Very broad question. I don't know if you're talking about people skills and technical skills, but I'm assuming you're talking about technical skills. So a good way here is to, again, like those extracurricular or like what a co-curricular is good. Like Supra was very helpful to me because I learned things like how a car is actually put together. What's the competition? I went to Chennai, I saw like other people's cars. I was in the suspension department, so I knew like how that whole thing works. I did things like DFMEA. We all saw how much it was costing. I was in the sponsorship team, so I had to go ask people to give us money to build the car. So if you participate in extracurricular and co-curricular, even though like a lot of people it seems like why, but like if you do that, you will naturally see yourself building a skill set which maybe the other people don't have. So find those openings, find those opportunities, and make use of them.
What pointers should one keep in mind while writing a statement of purpose?
Let me remember my statement of purpose. So in my statement of purpose, I described why I wanted to do automotive engineering. Why I wanted to do that? Because I interned at Maruti Suzuki in my second year of college. Yeah, second year of college, and I was in the plant, the Gurgaon plant, and I'm like, damn, this is cool. So I had no plans of doing automotive, but like once I went to Maruti Suzuki and I was in the plant for like 3 months, I'm like, I want to do this, and that's exactly what I wrote in my SOP. I think the key is like be brutally honest. Don't try to like I was 6 years and I was making this thing and I wanted to do. Don't lie on your SOP. Just tell them your story as honestly as possible and explain why you want to do it. Explain how you're going to do it, and explain what I slightly last paragraph for like what are your plans after masters, after you get this degree, what use are you going to put it to, is like what have you thought about? Okay, once I have my automotive masters, what are you going to do? Are you going to ultimately work in an electrical, like hybrid electric vehicles? Are you going to work on self-driving vehicles? Are you going to work on some third thing which is going to come up in the next 10 years? So tell them, show them that you have a plan, tell them why you honestly want to do it. And another good thing which people do is people research about professors in your department, and they talk about like, I read about this professor, I'm very impressed with this work, he has this lab, I really want to work in this lab also. So that's another thing which gives you pointers, which I also did. I researched 2 professors. I'm like, I really like these professors, I'm really looking forward to taking these courses which are going to help me because I'm going to do this after my masters. So explain the whole journey in a very honest way. I think that should definitely help.
Okay, so can you tell what is the benefit of doing 2 masters, and do you think one should go for it?
It's painful. That's what I think of it. The first thing which comes to my mind is it's going to be painful. But again, if you really want to do it, why not? I mean, again, the question is why do you want to do it? That's always the key thing. Like why? If you feel like you did your masters in something and after that you're like, damn, I like something else and I really like this thing and I want to really do it, yeah, go for your second masters. But I don't know why you are thinking about getting 2 masters right now. If it's just to get 2 degrees, that's a different conversation, which I'm not a good person to ask. But like, if you want to do the one thing you want to do, fine. In US there's this advantage, things are not just like ABCD, things are like ABCDEFGHI, like 1,000 things you can do masters in. So you might end up finding a course which is a combination of the 2 courses you actually want to do. So there is no benefit to doing 2 masters. Try to find a branch which is like a combination of the 2 masters you want to do, and then try to go for that. That's going to save time. Like time and money are also 2 things we are constantly thinking about. So
Okay, on what skills should we focus on during our college life?
So people skills, definitely people skills, especially if you want to come for masters, because you're on your own here. There's no company coming here to hire you. You have to take your resume, stand in a queue for 2 hours, and then like have energy at the end of it to market yourself. So people skills, definitely. Second is like technical skills, like things I told you, like when I did FSA, I learned how to do a DFMEA, which was like people were impressed. When I worked, then I was the convener for the Tech Fest for 2 years. I learned how to run an event and like what things are important. So now that all those things coming back to me now as a chief of staff, because like I have this whole organization. I have to worry about money. I have to worry about headcount. I have to worry about like all my work is being delivered to the CTO. So, or like my manager's work is being delivered to the CTO, which I work on. So once you start, taking part in co-curricular and extracurricular things, you learn a lot from those experiences. Trust me, you're not going to learn that in a course. So focus on your people skills and focus on your technical skills, and like try to add them to your profile.
Okay. How does getting a master's degree from abroad compare with getting one from India?
So in India, I don't know the process, how the whole thing from India works. But I'll tell you why I went for where I went for, why I didn't do it from India. Michigan is like the number one school for automotive. And I was like, if I don't get in here, I'm going to keep applying to this. I'm not going to any other school. So if I didn't get into Michigan that year, I would have reapplied next year and then reapplied next year. So also I came to Michigan because Michigan is like the heart of like automotive in US. All your automotive companies are here, all your suppliers are here. That's why I came to Michigan. Like it was if you want to study automotive, you better be in the temple. It's like that's where everything was. And so if you want to work for those, I mean, you can work for those top EMs in India also, but I feel like I wanted to study in the heart of in the like the temple of automotive, which was here, and I wanted to you know get out of the let's say there were a lot of courses here which were I don't know if like they offer those now, which were there in Michigan, which were not there in India. So I wanted to take those. I wanted to study from people who've worked in these big three in the States. So I don't, but unless you make a bit like you can make your masters from India as advantageous as a masters from US is. That's up to you. I don't think you can like, it's like you can work, you can be you can do a masters from US and you can do a masters from India, and like you can be successful like in either places, like more successful than the other. It's up to you. So again, like ask yourself why you want to do both, and then decide. For me, I really wanted to come to Michigan to like see the big three. That's where it started. And then like slowly that made my path from like Michigan to like Uber to like where I am now. So
Great. Okay, so according to you, what are the major differences in student life at Indian versus international universities?
this I can tell you a lot about. You when you come here, that is a risk you are taking for yourself. You're leaving your comfort zone behind. Your family is miles and miles away. You might not get to see them. I have not seen my family for like 2 years now because of the travel bans. And you have to cook, you have to clean, you have to do every single thing. Like weekend, when my friends from like India call me and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, cleaning. It's a Saturday, I have to clean my stuff, do laundry. So all of those responsibilities are on you, first of all. Second thing, the financial situation, right? You're spending a certain amount of money. Things are expensive here. And you always have that pressure of like that financial pressure on you because you took a certain amount of loan to come here. So that mental pressure is always there. Things are 10 times more expensive than what education is 10 times more expensive than what it was in India. So that's another difference. Thirdly, courses are difficult. It's not easy. You can't mug up and like I used to mug up things in IGDTUW. There's some courses I like totally mugged up. Like it's like I just learned those things and like pewed in the exam. It's difficult to do that here. To do one homework assignment, it took me 10 to 12 hours. And sometimes I had to do it for 3 days. it's that tough. You need to go, it's you need to understand why, you're doing that homework. You can't just like write or like ask your friend, or you did the homework, and I just like copy it from you, because you're going to fail the exam. If you do that, you can do that, but you're going to like fail your exam. So the amount of effort which goes into, that study is like 5 times, 6 times. So you are studying something which is probably like 5 times more tougher than what you were studying before. I'll give an example of the IC Engines course. The IC Engines course, which I took in India, in IGIT, for a semester, was the first chapter of the course I took here. That 6 whole semester course was the first chapter of the course I took here. And then like done, I'm like, I took 6 months to study this. How did you just finish it in one chapter? And then the next 6 months are like, whoa. So it's definitely more detailed. It's definitely tougher. So that, your financial pressure. And the third thing is like, you're completely responsible for everything. You need to like clean, cook, and all of that. And then there's sometimes this emotional thing also, right? You're away from your family, you don't see them. So you have to be strong for like about that also.
Okay, so did you find any challenge to shift from an engineering background to an MBA?
Management background. Well, I don't have an MBA. I will get an MBA, but yes, I won't say I found challenges. I think I found differences, and I was slowly going towards that side. Like when I was a hardware engineer, I was responsible for my module. But when you're responsible for your module, you have to like chase people down. You have to chase other people down who are like kind of blocking your work, right? You're working with electrical, software, manufacturing, like 10 other people, software people, and you need to chase them down. That kind of starts adding to your tech, like soft skills, like people skills, like getting things done. So it's not like only if you do an MBA can you actually have management skills. No, your daily work requires management skills. You are managing so do with more people-centered work. Like if like this profile was people-centered, if you look for people-centered profiles also, where your product is also dependent on like 10 more people delivering it on time, you start developing that. So I went from hardware engineer to a technical program manager, where I was not responsible for that module, but I was responsible for delivering that module to the bigger whole, like to the whole cars program timeline which was in place. So like they only call TPMs in the room to discuss timelines. They don't call the product owners. So then I went to that, to now, which is completely different. And the challenges, or like the which I faced, if I call them like if I want to use that word, is during the interview, to convince people why do they want to give me a job which is not engineering, and I'm an engineer, and how will I be able to do it? So you have to quote examples when like, so I quoted examples like when I was the product owner, one supplier, because of like the COVID shutdown and this and that, the whole thing got delayed by 6 months. And then how do you deal with it? Now, this is a management problem. You have a product, you're supposed to deliver it. There is another supplier blocking it. How do you deal with it? So look for these situations in your work. I think your profile will automatically start, you'll start developing those people skills. And it's not about an MBA. It's about how your job deals, interacts with people all around you, and how you overcome those glitches or challenges which you face.
Right. So what factors to keep in mind while choosing a course university for graduation?
What do you want to do? What do you want to do after? Where do you see yourself? Let's see. I'll give if I give my example, I wanted to do a master's in automotive because I worked in GM, and I was like, I like this. I want to do this. How did I choose my university? I found the universities which offer automotive here, which was Clemson and Michigan. I applied to both, but I just wanted to go to Michigan. So that's how I chose my university. What are the universities here? What are the what are the alumni doing? What's their presence in the automotive field, in the sense like what are people who graduated from that university doing now? Research about that when it comes to university. For the courses, again, like the thing I told you, like start early. Where do you want or like which company do you want to be in, what job do you want to do, and then backtrack it to like what skills they're looking for, and then try to find like what courses will help you develop those skills, right? And like 60% of the times or 70% of the times, whatever you study, you don't use it in your job. So it's sometimes it doesn't work that way. Like I know people who took like completely different courses and now are doing completely different jobs. Well, yeah, it sucks because like sometimes you're an international student and you're not getting the job which you want because companies like, I'm not hiring international students this year. So decide where you want to be, which field you want to be in, what jobs you want to do, and then kind of backtrack to it to your the skills needed, backtrack it to the courses you should take.
Great. Okay, so what kind of projects did you work on in college?
So in undergrad, I was an FSA, which was a lot of fun. I was an FSA for 2 years. Very, very helpful, very, very hands-on. Definitely recommend FSA. For my people skills side, I was the convener for the Tech Fest for 2 years. A lot of fun, a lot of putting out fire situations. I'm sure like Shruti, you're going through of them every day. So that's what I did in undergrad. In my grad school, I didn't have time to do extracurricular like co-curricular activities because like usually there are bachelor students who give their 4 years to the project, and when you're on a deadline, when you're like, I have to finish these many credits in like this much time, I didn't get a lot of time to work on technical side of projects here. But the good thing is, whatever courses I took, you had to deliver a project in a team. So I took like hybrid electric vehicles, where you had to like show like what you take an existing powertrain and how are you converting into electrical vehicle from like a conventional IC engine vehicle. So that was in itself a project, and then you get to see like, okay, that takes you in depth, something which FSA did for me. So I was lucky that whatever courses I took, they had projects. I also purposely chose some courses because I saw that direct application in the industry. So when you don't have projects, that's what you do. Two of the courses which I took, people in the industry are using the exact same software. They're doing the exact same thing, and they are being taught by people. One person worked in Ford, one person worked in GM. Like they were evening professors. So you take up courses with those professors, and then you can talk to them about like, how are you using this in your work. So that's one thing. And like for extracurricular, like I was the president of the graduate student advisory committee, helped me network, like know everyone in my department. My department professors worked in industry, so I was able to make some contacts, like the Uber contact. So yeah, this is what I worked on.
Okay, could you highlight the importance of LORs for submitting applications for higher studies abroad?
LORs are taken seriously, very seriously here. It's a very important part of your application. So definitely get good LORs. People read them here. And try to get it from professors you've worked a lot with. And in each LOR, try to highlight a different side of you. Don't have the same project by 3 professors saying the same thing about you. Like what I did was, like, one professor, I took some courses, and he was my he was the technical advisor for Zebek, like the Tech Fest which we used to have. So he helped me highlight my management side. Another professor was our HOD, and he helped me highlight the technical side. Like she was in this class, and then she took these courses, and then one I took from my work. So they helped me highlight my professional experience that she worked in GM for 2 years. These are the projects she did. Oh, I did a lot of extracurricular in GM. I was like in all committees. That's why like that is what I say about networking. Like I was in almost all committees in GM. And then he wrote that on my LOR. Like she did this, she did her work. She was in these committees. So let every LOR highlight a different side of you, so that when it goes as a package, people can see the breadth of your experience.
Right. Okay, so what according to you is better, directly doing MBA after BTech, or one should first gain some experience and then apply for MBA?
Personally, gain some experience, because again, it teaches you a lot of things. It teaches you how to navigate in a corporate world, and you might make future decisions based on that experience like I did. And you can still go for an MBA after BTech, but that experience will help you in your MBA as well. Like that's what I'm saying. Like people here do MBA like 35, 40. They know they've worked their way through the corporate ladder. Nobody can bullshit them in an MBA. Like they're already coming with like the 35, 20, 25 years of experience. So that is going to help you in MBA as well. So it's like your experience will help you in an MBA, and like post that you have MBA and experience to start on your new chapter.
Right. So what was that special achievement in your resume that set you apart from others?
I won't say I have one specific special achievement, but I have my risks. My risks helped me. I took that risk to sit for GM. I was very scared. I took it. I got that job. GM just took like 6 people from our batch that year. So I was like, I have to be in these 6. And then I went to GM. I did, and then whatever opportunity I got in GM, like learning about GNT, doing my design for Six Sigma black belt, kept adding them to my resume. Then I took that big risk of like coming here, doing masters in Michigan. Then I took that big risk of like quitting like a safe company, giving up on that offer, struggling 6 months to find a job, and then being where I am right now. So for me, it's always been about like the risks I've taken, and in some way, they've worked out well for me. So I don't think that there will be one special achievement. Well, there might be, like you might be like really talented. Like I was never a topper, but even if you don't have that one special achievement, let your whole path, let your whole story be strong enough to help you land wherever you want to be, and like try to show like in this, here I did this, here I did this, here I did this, and let that whole thing come together to show why you're a best fit for a position.
Right. So this will be the last question from the audience. So were you also into coding or IoT during your college time?
Zero coding, zero software, never understood. Always hated computer science. Mechanical was my first choice. So I was like, if either I'm doing mechanical engineering or I'm doing physics honors. I'm like, I'm not doing anything else. So I was not. And this is one of the, some people ask me now that you went into self-driving, did you have coding experience? Did you have software experience? I did not. But trust me, there's nothing in this world which you cannot learn. And there's nothing in this world which you cannot learn on the job. So if you feel like you want to learn coding with your mechanical engineering, yeah, sure, do it. I knew C++. I took it in school, and then we had courses in mechanical also for C++. But if you feel like that's going to help you get somewhere, yeah, sure, learn coding also. For me, not knowing coding has not hampered me anywhere till now, like anything till now. I have been able to navigate my way through things without knowing coding while being in self-driving. So I was not, but it's always good. Like if you want to do coding, like absolutely. I think there is an appetite for mechanical engineers who also know how to code.
Right. I just wanted to ask you something from my side as well. So, you had to go sit in like on-campus placements as well, and then you even got a very good offer through our on-campus drive. So it must have been really tough to, choosing between, going to the great university you got or like continuing with the safe option that is with your job. So how did you make that decision?
For me, it's not tough. It's not like you're giving up on GM. You do your masters, come back to GM. So it was like that, right? It's never feel like that. Never feel like you have to choose between two things, and if you miss out on this, oh my god, you're never going to come back to it in your life. How are you going to ever do it? No, get your masters, come back to GM, and that was my plan. Like my plan was like, I'll do my masters. I'll learn about all of these things which I didn't know about, like to venture in, and that's like one of the reasons why I came to US to do my masters. It's like electrical vehicles now. It's coming up in India, but like. It's a lot is already being going on here in self-driving and electrical, and that's what I wanted to do. That's why I came here. Like that's why I didn't do my masters in India, because I wanted to make a shift to this industry. So my plan was to do this masters and then come back to GM with this new skill set and come back to a new position, like probably just working in hybrid electrical powertrains rather than just IC engines, which I was working on before. So that's why it was not a tough choice for me. So like if you feel like you are faced with these tough choices, sometimes they're not. You can always come back to GM. I tried really hard to get into GM. They were not hiring international students in like the positions I wanted to apply for. I tried really hard. But yeah, like my plan, and I can still go back to GM, right? If like tomorrow, day after, like a couple of years from now, okay, there's this position. I don't think I can go back to engineering now, but like if there's a management position which opens up, I'm like, okay, you know what, I want to do this. I can go back and work for that company, right? And it's better now because like once you have your work visa, things are less painful than when you're an F1, because like people are not willing to hire because the lottery system is like that. They don't know if you're going to get your H1 or not because it's a lottery. So they don't want to take risks, right? So yeah, like coming back to your question, you can always go back and work for it once you get your master's. The question is, do you want to get your master's? So you'll figure that out.
Right. Thank you so much for being here with us today. It was really good talking to you, and thank you for addressing our audience today. And I guess we can end the session now. Thank you for joining in. Thank you to Dee, and thank you to our audience. So
thank you everyone. Have a great week ahead. Thank you, Shruti. Well, see you guys on LinkedIn.